shorts. So what's this all about today? The card that has come out twice today is from Pleiadian Power. It's okay. And this card actually came out in our card read a few days ago. It's okay. Things are happening behind the scenes that you can't see right now. Everything will turn out fine. As the universe in the card is finagling things, and the person in the 3D world is kind of crying or wanting to throw a tantrum or just upset about the way things are. And on that note, I am then guided to my favorite bad girl at the Bringers of the Light to further expand on what's going on right now. We're going to read a passage from Tamber and Jameson. Tamber is she's just a badass. I don't know. If you don't know about Tamber and Jameson, that ebook is free to read. There's a series on the podcast we did last year around this time with Tamber and Jameson. But right now, I'm just going to... There's no physical book of this one right now, so I'm just going to go to my e-copy and just stop where they want me to stop. The whole thing? How much? All right, so we're going to start with this from... This is called Chapter 2, Morning After. Jameson awoke with a start. His head was pounding, and his stomach felt like a firecracker had imploded inside. What had he done last night? His vision fuzzy and protecting his energy from the woozy, dizzy feeling that had overcome him, he sat up. He was alone, again. He put the night's lovemaking and drunken excess behind him and pulled on his clothes. The geisha was gone, and he was able to move about and pick up his things. What was he doing? Why was he running like this? He definitely couldn't keep up this pace for long. He needed to find Tamber and make a fresh go at it. What could it hurt? She could always say no. But what if she said yes? His heart jumped and his stomach turned. Got a plan, he thought. I just can't come bumbling in with no clear vision. I have more to offer than that. I'm not just some guy. I'm the guy who felt the tsunami when I looked at her. Yeah, I'm that guy, he reminded himself, the badass special agent who works for the Bringers of the Light. I'm not some fly-by-night guy with flying ointment, he thought, with distaste of Clive and his petty wants. He wanted more than a one-night stand. He wanted all of her. But at the thought of her again, he balked. But what if? He reminded himself that he couldn't stay away from his work forever either. This running and drugging his mind with silly erotica and drinks couldn't last forever, could it? His guides reminded him that he was in control. He had the power. He wanted another drink, but forced himself to the coffee that had been placed there earlier in the day. They thought of everything at this place, he said to himself with gratitude. There was a knock on the door, and his geisha friend entered, using her charm to suggest a bath and possibly more. He winced. This was so silly. He wanted to go home, but where was that? He'd been running for so long he wasn't sure. I need to think, he said out loud, in the native tongue of the outer realms. The geisha suggestively held out her hand. Screw this, he thought, pulling on his robe and slippers and padding out of the room. He left a 50 on the dresser by the door and went to the locker room to dress. He'd had enough. He was returning to the scene of the crime, so to speak. He was going home. Chapter 3, You've Changed Me. Jameson teleported right into the room. He placed his hand on her heart and he wished her home. Tamber, deep in the oceans of Mars, was suddenly overcome with a willingness to do good and to feel love. It originated from deep in her heart, a place she had long forgotten about. her tendrils, the part of her that had been placed around herself for protection, shred themselves into the ocean. She wept into the dark red waves. Something was calling her home. She felt him. It wasn't Clive. It was something bigger and more profound. She willed herself back to her body, and when she opened her eyes, he stood before her. The tsunami jumped into her throat, and she was unsure whether to laugh or cry, so she decided to do both. Clive, being jolted back from his deep dreams, entered the room at the sound of her almost hysterical laughing and crying. What the heck, he thought to himself. How did this guy get in here? But he didn't have time to react, as in one swoop Jameson gathered Tamber in his arms and fled out of the room. He flew up and up into the night, and still he did not let go. She tried to shift. She tried not to feel the feelings of deep and unending love that were now pouring through her at the sight of him. She started to say his name, but he just shushed her. Where are we going? She asked him, slightly discombobulated from the flying ointment and the feeling of his strong arms. I'm taking you home, he said. My home. Okay, things are happening, you guys. You can't always see what they are. There may be a whole shit ton of emotion in the way of what you want right now. But don't give up. It's okay, and everything is gonna turn out fine. Take care, my hearties. We'll see you again on the next show. The end.